So welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. Okay, so once again, we live in this reality show. What do we do? Right? And the reality, for example, everything is there for a profit in this reality show. Increasingly in the United States, the disease is called neoliberalism. In Europe, here in the United States, we would call it Reaganomics or trickle-down economics or conservative economics or Friedmanism or whatever. Both Milton and Thomas. Banksters don't go to jail, but average people do. Rich people, CEOs don't go to jail, or if they do, like Don Blankenship after he killed, 19 or 29 men, he gets a year and a half. This bubble of oligarchy that is surrounding us, do we wait for it to collapse? I mean, in my book Crash of 2016, I sort of laid I laid out a scenario of how crashes create political reboots. Has the system become so corrupt that it's going to take a crash to reboot it? Or will we, the people, reboot it? People are complaining about, in both the Democratic and Republican parties, well, actually, I guess, it's more of the complaints in the Democratic Party right now that the establishment is keeping out the anti-establishment. In the Republican Party, the anti-establishment, that's Trump, has actually won, which is fascinating. No superdelegates there. There are some unpledged delegates. So, I think that there's like a full-fledged revolt going on in the Republican Party against the established order. That revolt is going on in the Democratic Party. It's less likely to succeed. I think the Democratic Party is a little more, was a little more ready for this in terms of a candidate. Although Jeb Bush, you say Hillary Clinton's been campaigning for this moment for 30 years. So has Jeb Bush. And he got his lunch eaten. So what's going on with this? Where do we go with this? In the meantime, by the way, this whole Koch brothers thing is getting more and more bizarre. We're seeing Zed Jelani, an alternate, back on January 27th of last year. So this is a little more than a year ago. He wrote this brilliant piece called "The Republicans, the GOP's Frightening Plot to Build Laboratories for Plutocracy in the States They Control." Keep in mind, this was a year ago. And he said, following the 2014 elections, Republicans gained more power in state legislators than they've had in their party's history, controlling 69 of the 99 different state chambers across the country. Now, you could either blame W. Wasserman Schultz for that, or you could congratulate the Koch brothers for that. I would do both. Frankly, I think that the Democratic Party needs to go back to Howard Dean's 50-state strategy, but, it ain't there. And Zed Jelani said these Republicans are going to be using these laboratories to put into action some of their wildest plutocratic legislative dreams, assaulting the rights of workers, clawing back laws at every level that protect the public interest, the ability of business to discriminate. For example, a diner is refusing to serve a gay couple. They're going to attack organized labor. In Wisconsin, Republican lawmakers are advancing so-called right-to-work legislation. Now, keep in mind, this is a year and a half ago. It's already passed now. Scott Walker has signed it into law. In New Mexico, Republican Governor Susana Martinez has no reticence in endorsing the right to work for less of her Republican lawmakers. In Kentucky, numerous individual counties are advancing anti-union legislation. This is all the stuff coming out of ALEC and the Koch brothers. Cutting taxes on the rich, starving their states of revenue. Sam Brownback blew a big hole in Kansas, which produced a debt of about $1 billion. So what did he do? He cut $127 million out of schools and delayed pension payments. Texas Senate Republicans pushed for a $4 billion tax cut for rich people. In Maryland, Republican Larry Hogan is trying to lay the red state treatment on Maryland. An array of permanent long-term budget reductions for public schools, private colleges, libraries, and economic development aid for farmers. So here we are in this world that now is basically corporate controlled, and you've got Mark Zuckerberg meeting with Donald Trump, where presumably the Republican presumed nominee for president is going to say to the president of Facebook, or the CEO of Facebook, or whatever his title is, you have to be nice to us. And the guy from Facebook is presumably going to say, well, we always have been, or words to that effect. So how do we break out of this? Labor used to be 35% of the labor force, organized labor. When Reagan came into office, there were strikes all the time, and groups of people got what they needed, got what they wanted through the strike. Those unions don't exist anymore. Or they do, but there's shadows of their former selves. It's 6.6% in the general marketplace. So are people going to go in the streets? And meanwhile, you've got, the Koch brothers out there just, putting their people in universities to teach a whole new generation of kids this neoliberal trickle-down economic stuff as if it was some sort of good thing, and trash democratic socialism. Oh my God, we can't have that after all, you don't want to be among the top 10 happiest nations in the world, do you? Like the Scandinavians. Step by step, moving forward. Do we tear down the bubble? Do we look through the bubble? Do we wake people up to the bubble? This is, I think Michael Moore's movie, Where to Invade Next, does a brilliant job of waking people up about the fact that we live in this bubble. We don't even know that most countries in the world actually have all the stuff that you've got even Democrats saying to Bernie Sanders, oh, you can't do that. That won't work here in the United States. We're the richest nation in the world. What are you talking about? We'll be back. It's 28 minutes past the hour.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-536-2370.
How do we take back our democracy? What's it going to take, in your opinion?
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.